Hello students, let us revise the chapter Deep Water written by William Douglas from the book Flamingo CBSE. So let's start. Let me tell you the content of this video. First, we will know a few things about the author William Douglas. Then I will share with you the theme of this story. Then I will tell you the story capsule. We will learn about William Douglas' fight with fear in the next slide. We will appreciate his courage and optimism. And finally, we will find the significance of the title Deep Water. Let's start now. Let us know something about the author William O. Douglas. Douglas was born in Minnesota and was raised in Yakima, Washington. He was an American jurist and politician. He served as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. He was nominated at the age of 40 by President Franklin D. Roosevelt and was the youngest justice appointed to the court and served for the longest term in the history of the Supreme Court. Some of his famous works are Of Men and Mountains, The Courtiers, Go East Young Man, etc. The following excerpt is taken from Of Men and Mountains. It reveals how, as a young boy, William Douglas nearly drowned in a swimming pool. In this essay, he talks about his fear of water and thereafter how he finally overcame it. We must notice how the autobiographical part of the selection is used to support his discussion of fear. Let's now discuss the theme of the essay. Deep Water deals with the childhood fear of Douglas. A misadventure at the YMCA pool developed an aversion of water in him, and he suffered from hydrophobia. The story focuses on the fact that childhood fears must never be treated lightly. If they are not tackled, then they make deep inroads into one's psychology. Douglas analyzes his fear and finally determines to overcome it. We now begin with the summary. Deep Water is an excerpt from Of Men and Mountains, written by William Douglas. It is an autobiographical description of how the author develops the fear of water and thereafter how he finally overcame it. He narrates that his aversion to water started when he was 3 or 4 years old and his father took him to the beach in California. There, he was knocked down by the waves and was almost buried down in water. When he was 10 or 11 years old, he joined the YMCA pool to learn to swim. One day, when he was sitting on the side of the pool all alone, a big bruiser of a boy picked him up and threw him into the deep end of the pool. He went at once to the bottom. He was frightened, but thought of a strategy to save his life. He decided to hit the bottom and take a big jump to come to the surface and lie flat on it, and then paddle to the edge of the pool. But it seemed his way down was very long. Before he touched the bottom, his lungs were about to burst. Though he tried to take a big jump, he came up very slowly. As a result, he went down for a second time. His lungs ached and he started feeling dizzy. He jumped. His feet touched the bottom, but it made no difference. When he went down a third time, he sucked a lot of water while trying to breathe air. Then all his efforts stopped and he had a blackout. He was overpowered by fear and eventually fainted. After this incident, his fear of water worsened and he did not go swimming or fishing or to any other water sport for many years. Finally, one October, he decided to overcome his fear of water. He hired an instructor to learn to swim. He started practicing swimming. Bit by bit, he shed part of the panic that seized him. The instructor tied a belt around his waist and connected it to a pulley with a rope. The author practiced day after day till he began to get back his confidence. He was able to swim the length of the pool on his own after 7 months. Finally, to test if he had lost the last vestiges of fear, Douglas went up to the Teton to Conrad Meadows and swam in the warm lake. As he had experienced the terror of death, his will to live grew almost intensely. This made him fearless and confident. Fear has a tendency to cripple and paralyze us. It doesn't allow us to make efforts to succeed. We ought to overcome fear in order to be successful. To overcome his fear of water, Douglas ultimately decided to hire an instructor to learn swimming. The instructor started working with him 5 days a week, an hour each day. He put a belt around Douglas and attached a rope to it. The rope went through an overhead pulley. The instructor held on to the end of the rope and monitored the swimming. On each trip across the pool, a little panic gripped Douglas. It took almost 3 months before the tension reduced. Then the instructor taught him inhalation and exhalation underwater. For several weeks, his instructor taught Douglas to kick with his leg until he was able to command his legs at will. It was almost after 7 months that Douglas was able to swim in the pool all alone. So the instructor was able to make Douglas a swimmer. But he was still not satisfied. He was not sure that all the terror had left. So he went and swam in the warm lake. After this, Douglas was confident that he had completely overcome his fear of water. This is a story of courage and optimism. Fear is a paralyzing emotion. It restricts all kinds of ventures that one thinks of achieving. But with grit, determination, and hard work, fear can be conquered. William Douglas proved this. He realized the truth of Roosevelt's statement, "All we have to fear is fear itself." He chased away his fear by psychoanalyzing it and then treating it in a systematic manner. He learned swimming step by step. It was a tough journey of 7 months, but he did not give up. He did not settle down so easily. He set a higher benchmark for his perfection. He went to Lake Wentworth to test himself. He swam there with confidence and won his battle against fear. His steadiness and tenacity empowered him in this fight. Let us now justify the title Deep Water. Deep Water is the most appropriate title to the story Deep Water, which literally means in trouble. The author suffered from hydrophobia and was really afraid of going deep in water. The misadventure at the YMCA pool made his efforts more difficult when a big bruiser threw him into deep water. The author underwent a series of emotions underwater. He made a plan to come up to the surface of the water but failed. He survived somehow. In order to overcome his fear, he hired an instructor and mastered each step of swimming. His grit, determination, and rigorous practice enabled him to be an expert swimmer. The title, Deep Water, signifies that the phobia of water was very deep rooted and was rid of with great difficulty. Well, that's all for this chapter. Thank you so much for listening to me. Hope you liked it. Happy reading. Bye-bye.